So the last part is looking at scientific notation through either multiplying or dividing. So on page 353 it goes through some really nice examples of how you multiply and how you divide. And so let's do that so you can have that in your notes. So let's go to my screen. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and write that down. So we have parentheses 6 times 10 to the fourth power, and then we have it multiplied by, let's say, 3 times 10 to the third power. Okay, so you would go ahead and take the 6 and multiply it by the 3, and then you would also do the 10 to the fourth multiplied by 10 to the third. So 3 and 6 make 18 times 10, and this is to the seventh because we're adding, right? But the problem is this is not scientific because normally the decimal point is right behind the 1. So, but right now the decimal's here. So we need to move the decimal to this location. And so we're actually making the number, when we go in this direction, smaller, which means we need to add 1 to this power. So our final answer is 1.8 times 10 to the 8th. And that's how you solve this particular problem for multiplication. If you're doing division, let's do something like 6 times 10 to the fourth. And it's all divided by, again, 3 times 10 to the third, right? And the top is a 4. Looks like a 9. Okay? So again, you're doing it in pieces. 6 divided by 3 times 10 to the fourth divided by 10 to the third. So 6 divided by 3 is 2 times, and then this comes up as 10 to the negative 3, so it's just 10. And so we could actually write this in standard form, and 2 times 10 is just 20. So we would get 20 for this, but in scientific notation it would be this way, and to the 1 power as you want to show it. So this is an example of that, but let's look at some real world problems as well in the setup. So taking a look where we would use it. So analyzing cost of advertising. So in 2016, a total of 1.969 times 10 to the 11th was spent on advertising in the United States. At the time, the population of the United States was 3.26 times 10 to the 8th. So if we want to determine how much was spent per person on advertising, we would take our first scientific notation and divide it by our second scientific notation. And so this is what we'd get. So if we go back to our notes to do this, okay, I'm going to write it down. So we're going to do 1.969 times 10 to the 11th. That's all divided by 3.26 times 10, and that's to the, I think, the 8th power. Okay, so we split it up. It's 1.969 divided by 3.26 times 10 to the 11th over 10 to the 8th. So now we do this part on our calculator. So you should get, if we do that, let's do that on the calculator. Alright, so I'm going to take, let's clear this, we're going to do 1.969 divided by 3.26, and we get this. I like to have it in standard form, so I'm going to go back to mode and switch it back to normal and do second quit and enter. So here it is at 0.604 if we round it. So 0.604 times 10, and then this gets lifted up, so that's 10 to the negative 8. So 11 minus 8 is 3, so that would be 3. But this is not scientific because it should be between 1 and 10. Or it can be 1 and up to 10, but not 10. So I'm going to have to take this decimal and move it here. And so I'm actually making this number bigger by moving the decimal. So that means I'm going to have to take 1 away when I do that so that it balances. So now I get 6.04 times 10 to the second is what I get. And if I want to put that in standard form, then I would just move this 2 places. So it's about $604 that's basically spent per person. So per person. Okay? And so this is an example of how this is done, and you'll be doing this as well in the homework and quizzes and stuff.